The numbers we heard were good from Butch. We're just 3 days in. You've gone through a weekend. I know you were busy. What kind of questions were people asking?
Yeah, no, we've been, it seems like, and maybe Tara confirmed this too, but in the last probably week and a half, 2 weeks, we've just started to see this thing ramping up, and all of a sudden, I would tell you, within the last week, extraordinary amount of phone calls. The questions are being asked are, hey, we're thinking about buying, and we're thinking that it might be time to, jump into the pool here, and are we in good shape with interest rates, or what should we do, related to that? Sellers are asking the same questions. Hey, we're thinking about making a transition, moving up, or making a move to a different, home. Is this a good time, with that? And so the answer to all that, it depends on your situation. But I would tell you that as a whole, it is a good time to make things happen. We are already starting to see a little bit of a frenzied activity in the marketplace.
How do you define frenzied activity?
Well, I think the frenzied part is when you take someone out to go show a home, and then you call the agent to say, hey, I have a client that has some interest in this home, want to know, is there any other offers on the table? And I had this happen on Saturday with Nick Kiso's client. We were looking at a townhome, and beautiful townhome, great location. It kind of checked a lot of the boxes for him. And when I called the agent, he says, well, we have 2 offers in hand. So yes. And so we're frenzied market, just meaning that we're kind of getting into that little bit of a multiple offer situation again. And then also when it comes to prices, I don't see prices going down, and maybe in some cases we're going to see some of the home prices at certain price points even start to elevate a little bit. Reason primarily is because of inventory. I mean, the supply and demand conversation we always have is that, our inventory levels at certain price points are relatively low. So now all of a sudden you've got multiple bidders, you've got a lot more buyers than you have, homes out there. And so I think the biggest question we get is, maybe this isn't such a good time to buy because I'm waiting for prices to drop. And our answer is, there's no way the prices are going to drop at this point the way our market is sitting right now. And I'll even go one step further when it comes to inventory is we look at things from a pandemic market conditions to pre-pandemic market conditions. When we look at pre-pandemic market conditions and inventory compared to today's inventory, we're at like 47% less inventory. Doesn't mean we have less buyers, So that's why prices-wise, we're not going to see those prices drop. So good for sellers, right? Because now they've got all this capital, things that they've gained equity in their home. But for example, if I'm just to use a couple price points when it comes to like a lot of times our first-time home buyers, they're working anywhere from that $150,000 up to $300, or it is kind of, after being in the business as long as I've been in, it's kind of strange to say, my first-time home buyers are looking at from $300 to $350. It seems, but we do have that. But for example, like if you're in that price point between $100,000 to $150,000, there's 10 homes total on the MLS for people to look at. And I had someone I'm working with right now that their approval is at like $149,000. We're going to find them something, but we may have to travel a little ways to get it. $150,000 to $200,000, 24 homes that are out there, of which 21 of them are single family.
Question: a year ago at this time, you're mentioning 24 homes in that price range. What would it have been a year ago? What would you
it would have been more than that, I think. Because last year, I don't know if it had been double, but it had been a little more than that. So I think that right now the encouraging news. I mean, because I'm not saying all is lost, is that we've seen new listings, 549 new listings so far, just in the last 30 days. Compared to all of February, where we had 312 new listings. Now, when you go to February of 2022, you'll go back a year, we had 411 new listings. So I think the overall message is the market's trying to adjust and adapt to this interest rate change. I mean, because I think everybody kind of put everybody on their heels, and not just buyers, because now the sellers, when they sell their home, they have to use, if they're going to get a mortgage, they have to buy into the current mortgage rate also. So, but I think everybody's kind of getting to a point where they're getting used to, this is the market. We're back in more of a traditional market, and people still need some place to live. They still want a home that fits their family. So I think we're to that point where people have said, okay, this makes sense. Let's go. Let's start working on this.
Interest rates is something that we've talked about forever. However, it used to be it was by calendar. When we got out of March and we got into April, you got to get things going. It's a little different today, isn't it, Tara?
It is. Yeah, I had the same thing, Tony, yesterday. $300,000 single-family home. I had a client, hey, I want to go look at it. Checked with the agent. They already had 3 offers on the table, and they were viewing at 2 o'clock, and it was noon. Mm-hmm. So my client decided not to look at it. But, I mean, we're back to that market.
Yeah, so when I say frenzied, I mean, there's a lot of different definitions. Maybe a better term would be is our market's starting to heat up again.
Yeah, it's picking up.
Yeah, so but like when you're talking about the weather, and this is the other thing that's kind of contributed to a little bit of this heated up market is, in fact, when we go back 5 weeks, and, we're doing open houses on a regular basis because we have new construction, just like you do, Tara. But of the last 5 weekends, 3 of them have been under storm conditions. So,
yeah.
We've even canceled a couple of our weekends because it's like I didn't want to put our agents at risk, and there was no reason to have people as they're trying to get through to your place on, snow or ice or blizzard conditions type of thing. Which seems strange. Here we are, we're talking April 3rd, which April 3rd, normally we're looking at 60-degree and 70-degree weather, and we've been nowhere near that. Now, yesterday was a nice reflection of what the possibility of things that can be.
Snow melting.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. It was wonderful, and we noticed that because we did have like 5 open houses. So we did notice that we had some of that increased traffic out there. So, I think that moving forward, we're going to see a lot more. The other thing is I know and for us, as our office and team is, we've got a lot of people that are right now just about ready to get their homes listed and start working. So I think the other optimistic part is there are going to be there's going to be more inventory that's out there.
Let me ask you by age for a second. We're talking a lot of times about the young people that you've had come out, first-time home buyers, whatever. What about those that are wanting to retire? They could see some value in selling those homes. Is this the time? What would you say, Tara?
You know what? It's interesting. On Saturday, I had a listing appointment with an 80-year-old who she decided she wants to sell her house, cash it all out, because she said, well, if I don't do it, then my kids are going to get to spend it, so I might as well take it. And she's going to go live her life by design and go travel. I mean, so you have some people that are wanting to cash out and go travel and live their life by design, and then some people that are selling their big old house and downgrading to a slab on grade and just simplifying life. No snow, no mowing the yard, and they can just travel as well.
It's hard to know what to do, and if we've bought 16 houses through the years, okay, all over the country, and it's like, what do we do now? Our house has tripled in value. Do we want to sell the house now and do, as the kids say, well, just go to a smaller place? Well, yeah, I know what you're thinking. Put some of that money in the bank and we could see it in the future. Or maybe they're just thinking maybe it would make sense for you not to have to worry about taking care of a bigger house.
Yeah, well, I think just as the last week or so, one of the reports that came out is, that for a while the millennials were the largest home buying and selling group. Right now, the baby boomers have outpaced them because here we're at that, talking about this conversation of people are at that position. They're empty nesters. They, whether they want to diversify, take some of their capital, go out and purchase a home, in the wintertime, especially after this winter. There's a lot of people that have really given some strong consideration. Yeah. Maybe I do want to be in Texas or Arizona over the wintertime, So,
yeah.
And I think, like when Tara was having this conversation with this person who was 80 years old, they love their house. They've lived there for multiple years, and their heart and soul's in this house. But they also know that a lot of times I'm having this conversation with people who they live in about anywhere from 11 to 1,500 square feet of their home, and the rest of the home is just sitting vacant. And so they're thinking maybe it'd be higher and best use if I went to something with an HOA, something that was truly closer to that size and that has the HOA, the maintenance taken care of. Because, especially after this winter, again, with the snow shoveling, it's really opened up a lot of eyes. And I'll even parlay that into this winter has also opened up a lot of eyes for people who own acreages. We probably will see a number of acreages come on the market because they're like, you know what, we love our acreage, but we just can't deal with having another winter like we've had. So I anticipate we're going to see some more acreages come up. So for people who are looking, be prepared.
And again, Tara, you head up the association. And my thought is, what do we tell people about who to pick, who to help you? It obviously has got to be somebody that you can identify with and that you believe in, and you can move forward knowing that you're taking care of everybody's concerns.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to a lot of people. They do their research, right? They're looking online. They're a lot of word-of-mouth referral. I know that's a lot of Tony and our business as well. I think it's, who do you mesh with? Who's asking you the good questions? Who's helping you self-discover? Who's walking you through the process? It's very much a relationship business, and as well as, is that agent investing in themselves? Are they learning? Are they growing? Are they watching the market closely? It's important. It makes a difference.
Yeah, because it's hard for people to make an educated decision if you're not giving them the concrete facts. And this is it's an evolving marketplace. I mean, every couple months it seems like there's something different from, like, if we go back to October. Well, everything kind of shut down because the interest rates went up 0.75 of a point.
Yep.
Well, now all of a sudden we're getting to the warmer weather. We're past the holidays. Interest rates have kind of leveled out a little bit, with the caveat of there's talk about interest rates actually potentially going down over time. So that's another thing, and that's the other part. My message to buyers would be is when they say, "Well, I'm going to wait till interest rates go down." Okay, that's one good way to put it. But the problem there is now all of a sudden you're going to be in multiple offers. And so did you gain anything? Because now all of a sudden we're having to do this thing that we had offers where all of a sudden, okay, you've got 5 offers on the table. What is it you want to do? And usually those offers end up going over list price.
I've got to call a timeout. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about what the numbers should show next Monday when we have the report card show. That's next. All right, the report card show, the official report card show, will be on the 10th this month. We've got Tara, who is president of the association, Tony Bachman, who's the keynoter. What are we going to hear next week, Tara?
I would assume, like Tony was mentioning, the new listings, right? Those are going to be up. Pending sales, those should be up. I mean, our team put, way more homes under contract than we have the last couple of months this last month.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think I think we're going to see this positive movement here moving forward. And I think what's happened is because that weather has been, has kind of kept people, off the marketplace to a certain degree. Now that the weather gets nice, we're going to have what we call the traditional spring market, where it's going to be a frenzy, activity. So I think that next week I'll be excited to see the numbers. Our only Achilles heel with anything that we have going on here is just inventory. It's going to be certain price points are going to be a little bit light on inventory. That's all.
And I was looking the last 10 years. I was looking at new listings. What months list the most homes? And historically, April, May. Mm-hmm. We always have the most new listings coming up. So buyers, if you are feeling discouraged, you're not finding something, more listings are coming. Be ready. Have your pre-approval. Meet with your agent and be ready to make an offer.
That's what's different. Having that pre-approval letter.
Oh, yeah.
That you're ready to go and you don't have to go get it after somebody else has already turned in 3 orders.
It's a must. It's a must.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You'll miss out on a house if you're not ready.
And I love it when people say, well, I don't know if I love it, but we always have this where they say, oh, well, I can get that. I've got a good relationship and I'll just get it when I find the house. Well, now we're back to the, you've only got 2 hours to put an offer in, but you better have a letter with you.
And then they're like, oh, we need all these documents. I need time to get them.
So,
yep,
quick answer. Are we getting a lot of calls from out of state?
Not as many as we used to, but I'm still getting them.
Yeah, same.
All right. You guys keep your powder dry. Come back and see us next week. Nice to have all the guests in today.